There is a small green plant sitting in a pot. Nothing about it looks special at first. The leaves are simple. The shape is ordinary. It does not look like something you would find in a dessert. And yet, when some gardeners pick its pods, dry them, and taste them, they pause. Because it tastes like chocolate. Not exactly the same. Not as rich as a processed bar. But close enough that it surprises you. Warm. Sweet. Familiar. And the strange part is this: there is no cacao involved at all. For decades, most of us have believed that chocolate comes from one place. One tree. One system. We go to the store. We unwrap it. We enjoy it. That has been the pattern for years, even generations. But here is a quiet contrast. While we've been buying chocolate for decades, this plant has been growing quietly for months at a time, in backyards, in dry soil, often with very little attention. That contrast feels a bit confusing at first. A simple plant growing slowly, compared to something we usually think of as processed and complex. If this feels confusing, that's very common. After watching gardeners grow this plant for years, a pattern starts to appear. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just consistent. The same observation, again and again. A plant that doesn't look like chocolate, slowly producing something that reminds us of it. And there is a reason for that. Before explaining why this happens, it helps to understand what we've always called chocolate in the first place. When most people think about chocolate, they think about cacao. The cacao tree grows in warm, humid climates. It needs steady temperatures. It needs protection from strong winds. It needs careful handling. The pods grow directly from the trunk. Inside those pods are seeds. Those seeds go through a long process. They are fermented. Then dried. Then roasted. Then ground. And only after all of that do we begin to recognize something close to chocolate. It's a long journey. Not just in distance, but in time. By the time chocolate reaches a store shelf, it has passed through many hands. Farmers. Processors. Factories. Transport systems. Packaging. Over time, we become very used to this system. So used to it that we rarely stop to question it. Chocolate comes from cacao. That's just how it is. But sometimes, in gardening, when we look closely, we begin to notice that nature doesn't always follow our expectations. There are other plants. Other flavors. Other patterns. And sometimes, those alternatives are not new at all. They've just been quietly sitting in the background. That's where this next plant comes in. It grows in dry, warm regions. It does not ask for much water. It does not need constant attention. In fact, it often grows better when it is left alone. For many people, it's just a tree they pass by without noticing. But this tree has been around for a very long time. Long before modern chocolate became popular. In some regions, its pods were used as a natural sweet food. Sometimes ground into powder. Sometimes eaten as they are. The tree is commonly known as carob. It grows slowly. Steadily. Without urgency. At first, it doesn't draw much attention. The leaves are sturdy. The branches spread wide. The pods hang quietly, turning from green to a deep brown as they mature. Nothing about it feels dramatic. And yet, over time, gardeners who pay attention begin to notice something unusual. Not all at once. Not immediately. But gradually. It often starts with curiosity. Someone picks a mature pod. They break it open. They notice the smell first. Slightly sweet. Warm. Not strong, but familiar in a quiet way. Then comes the moment that often surprises them. They taste it. At first, they are not sure what to expect. It doesn't look like chocolate. It hasn't been processed in the same way. There are no added ingredients. And yet, there is a hint. A gentle resemblance. Not identical. But close enough to pause and think. That moment is important. Because it's not based on theory. It's not something read in a book. It's something experienced directly. Gardeners often describe it in simple terms. It reminds me of chocolate. Not perfectly. But enough to notice. And once that observation happens, a question naturally follows. If this plant has been here for so long, why don't we hear about it more often? The answer is not complicated. It's mostly about how systems grow over time. Cacao became popular because it fits well into large-scale production. It can be processed in consistent ways. It creates a flavor that many people enjoy. Over time, industries formed around it. Factories were built. Supply chains expanded. Markets developed. Once a system like that is in place, it tends to continue. Not because other options don't exist, but because the system itself becomes familiar and reliable. Carob, on the other hand, grows more slowly. It does not always fit into the same large-scale patterns. Its flavor is milder. Its process is simpler. So it stayed in the background. Not hidden. Just less emphasized. This doesn't mean one is better than the other. It simply shows how attention shapes what we notice. And this is where many gardeners run into a common misunderstanding. When they first hear about a plant like carob, they expect quick results. They imagine planting it and tasting something chocolate-like within a short time. But this plant does not work that way. It requires patience. Carob trees can take several years before they produce pods. Sometimes longer, depending on the conditions. During that time, the tree is quietly establishing itself. Growing roots. Adjusting to the soil. Responding to the climate. If someone expects fast results, they may feel disappointed. But the plant is not failing. It is simply following its natural pace. Another common mistake is planting it in conditions that don't match its needs. Carob prefers warmth. It prefers dry soil. It does not enjoy constant moisture. In fact, too much water can slow it down or cause problems. This is where environment begins to matter. In warmer regions, where winters are mild, carob can grow comfortably in the ground. It can spread out. It can take its time. In cooler regions, it becomes more challenging. Some gardeners grow it in large containers. This allows them to move the plant when temperatures drop. But even then, expectations need to stay realistic. A container-grown tree may grow more slowly. It may produce fewer pods. That's not a failure. It's simply the plant responding to its environment. For seniors or beginners, this is an important point. Not every plant behaves the same in every place. Sometimes, success comes not from doing more, but from understanding what is possible in your specific conditions. And this leads to a deeper insight. At first, it might seem like this plant is a replacement for chocolate. But over time, that idea begins to shift. It's not really about replacing something. It's about rediscovering something. A different way of experiencing flavor. A different pace of growth. A different kind of relationship with what we consume. When you grow a plant like this, you are not just waiting for a result. You are observing a process. You see how long it takes. You notice how the pods change color. You become aware of small details that are easy to miss in everyday life. That awareness brings a quiet kind of satisfaction. Not because it produces something identical to what you can buy, but because it offers something simple and direct. There is also a sense of independence. You are not relying entirely on outside systems. You are growing something yourself. Even if it takes time. Even if the result is slightly different. That difference is part of the value. Of course, it's important to keep expectations gentle and realistic. Carob does not instantly become chocolate. The pods usually need to be dried, sometimes ground into powder. The flavor is naturally sweet, but not as strong or rich as processed chocolate. Some people enjoy it as it is. Others use it in simple recipes. It's also wise to try small amounts at first, especially if you are new to it. Everyone's taste is slightly different. And as with any plant, it's best to make sure it is grown in clean soil, without harmful chemicals. These small precautions help keep the experience safe and comfortable. But beyond all of that, there is something quieter happening. A shift in how we approach gardening. Many people believe that gardening requires constant effort. Daily tasks. Frequent adjustments. Always doing something. But often, the most meaningful changes happen when we step back and observe. A plant like carob teaches that gently. It does not respond well to being rushed. It does not demand constant attention. In fact, it often grows better when we interfere less. We begin to notice patterns. How the leaves respond to sunlight. How the soil dries between watering. How growth happens slowly, almost invisibly, until one day it becomes noticeable. These observations build confidence. Not because we are controlling the plant, but because we are understanding it. And that understanding reduces the need for constant effort. If you're comfortable sharing, I'm curious how often you tend to check on your plants during the week. Some people find that stepping back a little actually helps them notice more. In the end, this plant offers something simple. Not a perfect substitute. Not a dramatic change. But a quiet reminder. That not everything needs to be fast. That not everything needs to come from a store. And that sometimes, the most interesting discoveries are the ones that grow slowly, right in front of us. You don't have to do more. You just have to notice more. Sometimes, the garden improves when we simply step back and observe.